Go.
Hello everybody. This is Gideonet coming again. This is Gideonet of Network of African Youth for Development. Hello everyone. This is Gideonet of African Youth for Development. We are back again today discussing the progress of the implementation of SDGs in African countries. So today we have the NAID SDGs team from Somalia with us, and we're going to touch on the progress that they've made, the challenges that they're encountering, and the future plan. So without further delay, I welcome the team from Somalia. If you could kindly introduce yourselves to the people, please. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Could you kindly introduce yourselves to the people?
Yes, my name is Abdiaziz from NYD Somali team at Sofja. On my right hand is Abdigadir, our executive director. And on my left hand is Abdi Fattah, our HR and consultant.
Okay.
Do you copy?
Yes, very welcome. We are actually glad that you could make it. So just to begin, how well aware are the young people in Somalia of the SDGs from your experience working at the community?
From our experience working at the community level, as we said this morning, the government also launched the Sustainable Development Goals 2015, September, and attended the World Forum. We, as the youth-based organizations, we started also through the network of NYD, mobilizing the community, mobilizing the youth-based CBOs, and from there, as mentioned in our action plan, we started meeting, sourcing and identifying the active youth-based organizations to form the Somali NYD team. We formed us as the focal point, SOFJA, Somali Youth Voluntary Group Organization, and 10 other CBOs who are part of the NYD team. Today, some of them are with us, and some could not manage to attend our meeting today. We started, first of all, launching the NYD team, Somalia. As you can see on our background, NYD Somali Consultative Team workshop for 1 week. That was on 23rd of March. And in that workshop, we discussed we first of all introduced the members to NYD, objectives of NYD. Then we introduced the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in our local Somali language and in Somali context. Then from there we discussed what are the major obstacles that can hinder us from achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in Somalia. As you are aware, all the members agreed, and there was a big discussion, very hot debate, as you are aware, because Somalia has been without government for the last 25 years. People have been fighting inter-clan, religious wars, insurgent wars, and still our federal government is supported by the international community and also supported by the African Union mission forces, which are not operating the whole of Somalia. Majority parts of Somalia is still controlled by insurgents, so insecurity was number one obstacle that can hinder us achieve sustainable development goals. And number two is government, because we don't have a proper central government. You can imagine a country without government for 25 years. We are struggling with security and life. So nobody is now, people, it's very hard to talk about sustainable development goals. That's how the members agreed. And the major obstacle was security and lack of central government, proper central government. Our government is still weak and doesn't control majority of the parts of Somalia. You copy that?
Yes, yes, I do. Just hold on as I introduce the other teams, and then we'll get back to discussion, okay? Just to remind the teams that we've been joined by, I see the team from Niger, and just to remind the participants to mute your mic if you're not talking. Okay, so I will kindly ask Christian, because I see he's online, to introduce himself. Christian, can you kindly go ahead and introduce yourself and your team? Okay. All right. Then probably we could have the team from Niger. Christian, are you there? Okay. Then okay, just all right. It looks like they're having some issues, but we'll get back to you. So we've just had an initial report from the Somalia team, and we're actually glad that you were able to meet and start discussions and probably come up with ways of how you could move ahead. So from there, we know that Somalia has been faced with a lot of issues, as you mentioned, insecurity and even central government. But what can the young people and what can you as people who are leading the young people do? What sort of things can you actually do despite there having insecurity issues in no central government? Did you come up with any any sort of action plan? What would you encourage the young people in Somalia to do in relation to the
SDGs? Thank you. The issue is security is the major factor, and as usual, there are suicide bombers. Although now in the capital city of Mogadishu, which is controlled by the government and supported by the international community and African Union forces, that is Uganda, Kenya, Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda. So they train the Somali National Army, giving them logistics and backups. But with that, they also here and there suicide bombings, and you'll find in every week almost suicide bombers attacking the government control areas. And since it is there's no a week or 2 weeks that passes that you don't hear a hotel has been bombed or a public gathering was bombed. The government office or the government cars on the road were attacked, landmines. That has been the order of the day. But as usual, when we have been in this situation for 25 years, and we know how to camouflage and do our activities from one corner to the other with limited security and resources. We have been in this situation for 25 years, and we manage a little bit when security allow us, and due to that, we meet the CBOs, we meet the community, we do community awareness on security, the importance of peace meetings, There's the elders, the clan elders. So what happens now, because this situation has affected, insecurity has affected the country, the youth have no education for 25 years. We can say 99 or 98% of the youth did not have proper education for the last 25 years. You can imagine unemployment of the youth. This now takes them to join the insurgent groups to get employment opportunities, so that they're used by the clan militias, the warlords, and the insurgents. They recruit as young as 12, 14 youth, age-old youths as military soldiers for their own interests. So we have been doing a lot. We have centers, youth centers. Currently, we are doing a vocational training center for youth as an alternative way to give the youth education and give them rehabilitation, and give them also to make them busy, not to engage in war crimes, not to be used as child soldiers. So these 200 youth were training them on number one, mechanicals. Number two, we are training them on carpentry. We have masonry. We have for ladies, we have a beauty salon. We have car painting and panel beating. So through using these centers, we mobilize and talk to the youth. Although we have limited resources and funds, we talk to the youth, engage them, make them busy, give them skill levels, and after for a period of 6 months, they graduate, give them certificates, give them necessary tools. For example, if they were doing carpentry, give them the tools to be used for carpentry, and because there's no ready employment market in Somalia, they do their own self-employment, making of chairs, making of tables, so that they can make them a living for them and for their families. We are trying very hard, and we are very happy to be part of NYD team. I think we need a lot of capacity building for ourselves, even as we grew up in this situation. You can imagine, for 12 years. I'm now 40 years. By the time the country was going into, I was 15 years a young boy with no proper education. You can imagine that. So it is us now. There is our responsibility as the youth to guide and help our young generation not to be used in insurgent wars, not to be used in conflicts. It is estimated that close to 1 million Somali youths died in the wars for the last 25 years. For the last 25 years.
So
we need the network, and that is why we joined the NYD network, to get capacity assessment, to get proper guidance. Our youth also need a lot of they need a lot of counseling. They need a lot of rehabilitation. Most of them are into drugs. Because when they're using this young youth or young boys for the child soldier, they drag them. They drag them. That is. So we need a lot. We need to have rehabilitation centers for the youth. We need to have alternative employment sources for the youth to engage them, not so that they don't engage in these criminal activities. Please, NYD team, please guide us and help us. Look Somalia with a proper eye. It's not the same as the other African countries. It is a country which has no government for 25 years. Thank you.
Yes, I actually hear you, and as you know, it's just we're in the process of we're just at the start of this initiative, but definitely we'll keep an eye out, and you're an active group in the initiative, so we'll definitely have you in mind and inform you if something comes up. But just a few questions, so from the meetings that you've had and from your experiences working at the community, what would you say is the priority for Somalia as, among the 17 SDGs? What has your group
Okay.
identified as the most important SDG that that you actually plan to begin on when the implementation begins?
Thank you. We said we met I also shared with you the SDG launch for the Somali government, Ministry of Planning. Through using that and also talking to our teams, and we started talking to community also already, although we did not we were supposed to have a community workshop, one-day workshop, to guide them through the goals and ask them their priority. But our priority number one is goal number one, which is poverty. And we have not seen in the goals security. There's no way security is mentioned. For us, Somalia, if you ask, our priority number one is security and to have a proper government. Number one, if it was us, our security and our priority number one will be security. We need to merge this. We need to merge this in the goals. Our priority number one will be security. Then, without security, you cannot have end poverty. If you don't have peace, if you cannot sleep and you are being shot with guns everywhere, you cannot look for food. First of all, for you to have look for food, for you to have development, you need to have security and a peaceful mind. You need to have where to sleep. I think Abdul Fattah, my colleague, will also. I introduce you also to our gender equity lady. Becca is with us also. She joined us now.
Okay.
Hi.
Yes, hi. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Okay, I'm Deqa Abdullahi.
Yes.
Your name?
My name is Judianet. I work with NAID, and I'm hosting this meeting today. So we're happy to have you with us, and we'll get back to you shortly discussing gender. Is that okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, let me pick from where my friend has just stopped about our priorities as Somalis, and as also of the the forum. Hope you can hear me well.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, and as far as my friend has already elaborated, one of priorities as Somalis youth group or members of the forum is security, as he has substantiated more. Secondly, I'm going to follow up in the order of our priorities. We have a second priority, education. After the security, comes our people are now. I've talked about the poverty, as my friend has discussed about it, and the third one is an education, because you understand the situation. Been 12 years of lawlessness, and we know a proper system of administration and governance, and you accept most of the youth, those ones coming up and those who are born in that era, mostly they were not any formal system of education. So the education will have been an issue that is also a priority in this case. Thirdly, fourthly is an issue of gender equity and empowerment. Most of the people who are vulnerably affected are the women in Somalia situation now, because men have the masculine effort, or an ability maybe to take a weapon and protect themselves. Women don't have that, and mostly they are the people who are going to suffer because they give back to the kids. They are the mothers. They are the people who are going to be suffering at the end of the day, because a man will just get his gun and then proceed to the field. At the end of the day, he will just look for his whatever he can grab and eat and just disappear there. Then the person going to suffer the family way back is the mother and the children. See? So these people, at the same time, when it comes to resource sharing, people use weapons to share resources. People use what you call excessive force. They cannot do that. So you get the whole thing. And when it comes to what you call equity issue and empowerment, they are the people who are the mostly in the situation of vulnerability. See. So and to cut you short on that, and to proceed also is the issue of what you call. We also have the problem of health, because especially there are no proper health facilities to cater for those what you call even to solve those elementary what you call levels of health care needs. People don't have even accessibility to the what you call basic health care needs. You can in this era of this world of today, and you can it's very much what you call ironical at the same time, very much hard to believe for someone to tell you he died of malaria or he died of fever. Those things in the developed world, those are things that are not what you call forgotten and see. So as you understand, and one of the biggest things that Somalis are suffering is, and also with the introduction of what you call with the recent years, there have been also what you call some of the due to that movement of what you call migrative what you call movement between interborders. Some of the Somalis have been what you call refugees in other countries due to that misplacement. They get to some what do you call because of the poverties and what do you call the challenges they find in a foreign country. Some of them get violated. Some of the ladies get raped. All those things in the process, they get affected with themselves with the, what do you call and diseases like chronic ones like HIV and AIDS. See? So when they come back home, those who are contracted because of illiteracy of what also about the disease, and they're not being aware of sensitized well on how what do you call to end the stigmatization of the disease within the community, also to sensitize others on the importance of what do you call and respecting those with the disease, and also understanding this is a normal thing in life, and everybody's common to be what do you call affected by it, and they happen to be what do you call like sidelined by the other communities. So some of them they get that is like what do you call they have been what do you call mistreated, and they get to what do you call and even like see like use that as a weapon to also affect others. See. So also with that what do you call and challenges and the inside of health, we also have what do you call and poor facilitations of what do you call health facilities at the level of government, because the government cannot sustain all it is what do you call social necessities at the level of what do you call like to say and everything you need at your doorstep. They cannot, because the government itself is trying to crawl, see, like a young child. See, with one day, bomb on the what do you call, if the state house is being attacked, if the ministries what do you call have been attacked frequently, you expect the situation. A minister who's running to what do you call to escape for his life will not have enough time to think of what health needs are for the Somalis. See, some of the also exploitation we have is that we have private men who are what do you call private people. They are investors of bad will, you see, not goodwill. They come from abroad, they come with their money, they bring fake drugs, they come and what do you call use what do you call young youth to sell those drugs to affect the rest of the family, the rest of the community. Imagine someone coming with just a milk and milk powder and then 2 capsules, what do you call those tablets, and then labels it as an antibiotic, and people consume it. You see, psychologically, that person will go to take that drug in the expense of saying that I'm curing from a disease, but someone somewhere is making millions of dollars out of that. See, so you understand, and a state is collapsed. You understand the situations whereby when you talk about priorities, our priorities are a bit unique from other African countries or other members of this forum, as they can disclose it or as can they put it. See, I think and you can understand a bit on my lastly and if I might put this, there's no decent work program for the youth. Even the few who have been educated in the bordering countries or the neighboring countries, when they come back home, they don't have decent work program. The decent work program, what I mean is that there's no any system or any institution that has the enough resources who can manage their employment needs. You see, we think of what like the youth, the government sometimes talking about like in collaboration of international labor organizations creating some decent work program, Somali Youth Forum, for all those things. But all in all, whatever that happens is that there is no any what you call a framework, a national framework that leads this to the end, whereby youth can easily be seen or be concluded as this a decent and what you call a productive youth of a nation like Somalia. With that few notes, I think I say thank you and take it back to my friend.
Carol, thank you. To add on what my friend concluded. Hello?
Yes, just a minute before you go on. Our colleague from Niger is online. Just hold on. Hello? All right, it looks like they're still having problems. So, okay, we can go on.
Hello?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm saying we just outlined a number of priority areas that are unique to your country and that probably you'd be focusing on as a group, within the initiative. So we've talked about security and government, but just to map onto the other priority areas, for example, poverty. How do you think that you and the other CBOs that you've come, you joined together in this initiative as a representative of Somalia? How do you think, or what do you think you can do to address the question of poverty as young people?
Thank you. I think through community mobilizations, we are discussing that Somalia has farmlands. First of all, we mobilize the community not to rely on aid and not to become dependent on aid. Somalia, because of lack of government, also there's a major influence from the international and UN organizations and donors, making the communities to be dependent syndromes, communities forgetting their families. So for the last couple of years, we have been discussing this. Please, let's farm our land. Let's have time and farm our land. The time we don't have conflicts, let's focus and get back to the farms. There is this issue of, first of all, if I may take you back to the conflict and the civil war in Somalia, it is, there are a lot of factors involved. International community, neighboring countries, a lot of factors are involved in this. It is very complicated to understand. It's something that I can't even discuss over Google Hangouts for my security reasons. So it's very complicated, and we have a lot of issues on ground that we cannot talk on phone or video or on Google Hangout unless face to face. Because in this conflict, people all over the world, name from everywhere, have big interests. So what we are focusing now, for example, I give you a small bit issue is goal number 15, that is use of land, protect and have proper environment, protect the environment, to stop by the major problem we are facing in Somalia is export of charcoal to the Gulf and Arab countries. Our forests have been degraded. Deforestation has taken place. I'll share with you a report, a concept note and a report just prepared, finished. We are planning for a tree planting day on Global Youth Service Day tomorrow on 17th. So I'll share with you that report. It's detailed and you can find out all the actors involved in the charcoal burning. You can imagine in only 2014, more than 250 million US dollars were made from charcoal burning, export of charcoal to the Gulf and Arab countries. That means every shipment that carries 100,000 bags of charcoal, we estimated to 10 trees, savanna trees, 10 savanna trees or acacia trees. This degradation of now stopping poverty, we are trying to create awareness on environmental sustainability, to stop charcoal burning, to sustain our environment, because once you create and clear all the forests, there will be soil erosion, no retention of water, no attraction of rain. All this now contributes to poverty. To have food security now, we first started our campaign on stop burning charcoal and give land a chance. That is our dream for tomorrow. Stop burning charcoal and give land a chance. To have sustainable environment, to have sustainable food security, and to stop poverty in Somalia, we are addressing this environmental issue of charcoal export and charcoal burning, and sensitize and mobilize the community on the importance of environment, on the importance of food security, on the importance of not relying on handouts from international community, on the importance of going back to their farms. We have two rivers that pass in Somalia, the River Shabelle and the River Juba. They are permanent river sources that come from the Ethiopian highlands. So using these rivers, Somalia used to be one of the best producers of banana in the world, if you go back to the history of Africa and the history of the world. So Somalia also has animals, the livestock sector. We have camels, we have cattle, and we have goats and sheep. Somalia has the best camels. Let me say, if you go back, I'm not just saying because I'm Somali or I'm representing Somalia. If you go back, if you go back to the history, Somalia have one of the best camels in the world. So through and Somalis, they are agro-pastoralist community. Let's say in the regions of Juba, where the river passes, River Juba, and the regions of Shabelle, where River Shabelle passes, we can say majority of the population are agronomists or agriculture. But let's say 40% of Somali are agriculturists, while 60% of Somali are pastoralists and nomads. They rely on animals, or rely on camel, rely on cattle, and rely on goats. So these 40% are the food basket of Somalia. They are the ones who produce the food for Somalia, apart from the surplus that we import. But now, due to lack of government, there are a lot of handouts and a lot of importation from out of the country, because we don't have, even if we farm, we don't have proper factories to process our agricultural produce.
So just
creating awareness on environmental protection. Thank you so much.
Okay, I was just going to ask a follow-up question. So you just hello.
Yes, please. I'm getting okay.
Okay. So
yeah.
You just said that one of your priorities would be to encourage the people to go back to agriculture, to go back to the farm, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So from experience, I don't know about Somalia, but from experience, it's always been a challenge encouraging young people to go back to agriculture. right? I don't know if that is the situation in Somalia, but in other countries, in other African countries, it's been a challenge to encourage young people to go back to agriculture and actually view farming as, as profitable and something that's actually needed the community. So how exactly are you going to encourage young people to go back to agriculture, to actually take up farming again?
Okay, well, thank you so much. I understand. I agree with you that that's a universal phenomena whereby all youth in the world have the same what you call notion of going back to the farm and leaving the streets of the cities. Well, our strategies are a bit what you call different because we feel maybe youth may be having the same what you call and culture, the same what you call similarities in terms of behavior, all those things. But we Somalis, we happen to be what you call like a bit different in terms of situation in compared to other youths of the parts of the world. We use one of the strategies that we think will be amicably supporting us to make youth to go back to the farms is education. We're going to sensitize the youth. Most of our youth now, if we can just like what do you call read our reports online in one of the universities, most of the universities will have faculties in agriculture and veterinary. The percentage of enrollment in the universities is very high for agriculture and veterinary because the baseline for any human being survival is food, and without food, a human being will not survive. So the youth of all those years, they have seen their uncles die, their mothers die, their brothers die, their siblings die because of drought and poverty related what you call illness and hunger. The source of to outcome this is that, and yet this was not the situation in those days when the government was in existence. See, now the only problem for them to cover up this is, for however much they get educated, however much they go to abroad, seek for better what you call pastures and good job, the end point comes, their farms will be what you call productive, because dollars you will have today, money you will have today in your pocket, tomorrow you will not have. But one of the sustainable things that are going to make you live for the rest of your life, your grandsons are going to benefit, your all other what do you call the generations as they go and multiply, they're going to just inherit from each other, is that farm yield and the production that the farm produces. Now we are talking at the level of the macro level of economy, at the individual level of economy, as we are trying to strategically link to the national level, that is the macro level. If one or two Somalis go back to the farm, youth, they educate others on the modern farming methods from the education that they get from the universities. And then that automatically going to transform us to be competing with other neighboring countries like China. Even if we cannot do much to produce the generic foods like the what do you call genetically modified foods, like the tomatoes and the rest. See? So at the end, we are linking our strategies and our thinking in a way that we can be able to free ourselves first from this issue of called hunger, as it is a theme or a building block of poverty. Are you getting me?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. From that point now, yeah.
Go ahead.
I think yeah.
Okay. I would like us to talk about gender. So if you give me your gender representative.
Yeah. She'll be talking in Somali, our native language, and then I'll be having the pleasure to translate that to you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. So my first question
Okay, you can raise your question and then I'll translate to her.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so my first question: what's the status of what's the status of gender in Somalia? Like, are we having more women active in the implementation of the SDGs? Are we having more women working in business NPOs? What's the gender situation right now in Somalia?
So you're asking about the situational picture of gender in Somalia now.
Yes.
Yeah. Somalia waxaa jiray dhinaca dumarka gender balance-ka xaquuqdooda maxaad u aragtaa iyo maxaad ka sheegi kartaa
inay wax badan ka maqan yihiin baan u arkaa dumarka inay ku dulman yihiin baan u arkaa inay shaqooyinka fursado fiican aan laga siin baan boosaska fiican oo ku haystaan u arkaa.
Okay. Now she summarized it. She said she pointed out some points. She said one of the things is that they are the most affected, what do you call, members of the community in Somalia. Well, the second thing she said that we happen to be like even opportunities of jobs. Only men get the better positions, and women are always there left to be cleaners and the rest. What do you call the subordinate staff and the cooking, all those things. And yeah, and even in representation in government, she says that women are always the minority in representing in the, what do you call, like the parliament or all the government, what do you call, the institutions. Are you getting it? And
Yes.
she said that even in government we're the minority, what do you call, those presented in government, because we happen to be like culturally backed, blocked by those olden days, what do you call, perception that women cannot lead. Only men can lead. See?
Yeah.
And finally, that and women empowerment in Somalia, though it is coming up now, it is not, what do you call, at any level of saying that it is now stabilized to be well respected and very much, what do you call, materialized.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Of course, this is not an ideal situation that we would like to have. But what is an ideal situation? Like, at what point can we say that women in Somalia have achieved equality? And I'm not just talking about. We're talking about in their homes, at the household level, at the community, and in the government, just like you said, is less representatives. So in the implementation of these development goals, so at what point can we say that women in Somalia have achieved gender equality?
And I beg your pardon, you said what can be done in order to ensure gender equality in women in Somalia?
No, sorry. My question is, she has just explained, like, how the situation is right now, right? And you said that women are the most affected people. They're less represented in government, and they have lesser opportunities compared to men, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now, what would the opposite of that be? What would be an ideal situation, like when we talk of Somalia that has women well represented and women with equality? What would that look like? What would you like to see? Women like to see in Somalia?
Okay. maxaa jiray xaaladaha saxda
caqabadaha iminka weydiisay looga bixi karaa saasaan ma fahmeen waxa looga bixi karaa iyadoo kow dumarka aqoon la yeeshaan oo waxba la baro iyadoo maxay ahayd hoos loo eego oo hay'adaha xuquuqul-insaanka oo kale ee dumarka eegaan iyadoo maxaan ku idhahdaa waddanka Soomaalidu dhaqan bay leedahay oday dhaqameedka lagu noqdo laga dhaadhiciyo dumarku hadday sidooda aan khalad ahayn waxyaalahaas kale laga bixi karaa caqabadaha
okay
مش حالات
Carol, how are you? Alaikum salam. The ideal situation we have on ground is, as you remember, Somalia is also an African country, and the African normal culture, women were always not included in decision-making process and leading. That was the common African culture. On top of that, also there's the Islamic factor. Somalis are 100% Muslim community society, where women are supposed to stay in the house. That was the ideal situation. Women are supposed to stay in the house. So combining this the Islamic factor and the normal African tradition culture that women are not supposed to lead, they're supposed to stay in the house. These two combined factors have been the ideal situation of Somalia. But since the government took and Siad Barre's government, some of the issues that made it fail was when he interfered with the Islamic teachings. If you go back to the history, 1982 or 1982, Siad Barre killed 10 Islamic scholars. And he said, in the Quran it mentions women are supposed to inherit half of what men are supposed to inherit. If men are supposed to inherit 100%, women are supposed to inherit 50%. Siad Barre, the former president of Somalia, in 1982, he came and held a speech, and he said the Quran was by that time of Muhammad. Now he said women, if Muhammad was around today, he said Muhammad came out when Arabs were barbaric and burning girls alive. So it took him a long process to come to the stage of saying 50, up to 50%. He said if Muhammad would have been alive today, because of the development and the way he started from, it would have been 100. So the Islamic scholars turned against him and they said he's infidel. And that is where the wars started in Somalia. It started from religion wars, then changed to clan wars. So we started from far, and that was the ideal situation before. Now we are talking of a lady even sitting with us, our colleague in the office. This has been the issue. Also coupled with the insecurity and lack of government for the last 25 years, even what the former Siad Barre regime started was finished because men took over. Guns were the order of the day. It's everybody for himself and God for us all. Women are weak. They're subjected to violence, rape. You get my point? So that was the order of the day. But now I'll take back to Dega to give us the solutions and how we can manage to have gender equity.
Okay, fine. Let's hear from her.
wacyigelinteeda waaantiin la baro maxaan ku dhahdaa in loo sheego in guryahooda aanay fadhiinin shaqooyinka la qaban kara wacyigelintaas hoos imaanaysa sooma electionka inay ka qayb qaataan isla markaana kooxaha iminka weyn kuma helayaan sidan kooto oo kale in loo xiro sida waxyaalahaas kala duwan kaga soo bixi karaan caqabadaha iminka
Dega is saying generally the first thing is to educate the girls. Number one, how we can achieve equity because our girls are not educated. They're not in schools. Girls in schools are less than 20%. They always at home. To bring out girls from home and to give equal education opportunity to girls and boys. That is one of the sustainable development goals, to have equal education and to have gender equity. We need to educate our girls, she said, number one. Number two is talk to the community elders and clan elders to inform them and sensitize them that girls and boys are all the same. There's no need of keeping girls to cook in the house and send the boy to school. They have to be given equal opportunity. Number three is through the support of the government and through the support of international organizations, through the support of human rights organizations, civil societies, to also mobilize and talk on gender equity, have forums for women, have forums for youth, girls and youth come together, discuss issues on equal terms. That is another issue. The other one is now through women representation in government. The human rights and civil societies to talk and sensitize and mobilize the government to give at least some representation for the women. Because as you know, now even our current government is not one man, one vote elected. It's elected by community elders. First of all, our members of parliament were elected from, were formed by, nominated by the clan elders. There's no one man, one vote. We were supposed to have our elections 2016. It's still not possible. So these elders bring out the members of parliament from every clan, clan representatives. The Somali government system is divided on what we call 4.5 quota system. This 4.5 is Somalia has 4 major clans and the minority. So the 4 major clans take, if it is 40, 45, the 4 major take 10, and the minority take 5. That is 4.5. Are you getting that point? Okay. So to talk with the clan elders to include in these nominations when they're nominating members of parliament, to include women representation in the, as by our constitution of Somalia, it says women representation in the government should be 30%, but they are not even 10%. So to talk and sensitize the government, to talk to the community elders who are nominating members of parliament to include gender equity. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just have one more question on gender, right? So just as you've explained, religion, is a big issue when it comes to achieving gender equity. So in a place where people still value their religious beliefs, how will you talk to them? How will you sensitize the community and even people who hold authority, like for example the clan elders? How will you sensitize them to actually start including women more? How will you face this big challenge of religious beliefs?
Madam Dinter weyn waay diintana hadii leedahay dumarkii guriga joogaan arrin diinta waa arrin
la faragelin karin
arrintaas
sida loo kala dumarka diinta waxay diiday laba wax oo kaliya wixii ka hooseeyo oo dhan bay qaban karaan, minister bay noqon karaan, madaxweyne ku-xigeen bay noqon karaan, xaakim iyo madaxweyne bay u diiday Soomaaliya labadaas xildhibaanada bay noqon karaan, agaasimayaalka bay noqon karaan, macallimiinta bay noqon karaan, oo kala dhan way qaban karaan.
She says yes, it is true, religion is a very important issue and a barrier, but there are misinterpretations among some scholars. In our religion, Islam, she says, it allows women to participate in development agendas in government positions and at any level, except to be president and to be a judge. Only these two. So women, yeah, she said, apart from these two, to be a president and to be a judge in the court, she said, our religion allows us all other positions, and there's no way, and the community elders to subject us to lower positions. She says we're going for all other positions except the president and the judge in the court, which the religion does not allow us.
Okay, just out of curiosity, why would women not be allowed to stand for the office of the president or a judge?
labada diinteedan ogolayn waxay u diidan tahay diintii mar haddii diidaba anagu diinteeda islaamka diidan tahayba haa taama laga hadli karaa.
Yeah, well, she's saying the beliefs of a religion what do you call beyond questionable, what do you call levels, you see. So she says, as for my belief and faith, whatever my faith directs me, and I believe to stick it. But there are more any levels of what do you call representation my belief has allowed me. If my belief has allowed me to become a deputy president, to become a deputy judge, and to become a chief and defense force of the armed forces, the general of the inspector general of the police, say that I'm equally like more serving like the president. So she says, from my understanding is, if my people will allow me to become a speaker of the parliament, then I'll be in a position tomorrow to what do you call even work hand in hand with the president. It's like more on the other hand, I'm also like what do you call the president of the country, because if you are the deputy president, you are like more like the president. Religion says it is a respect for us because of the nature of God has created us. See, we don't want to be like before men in terms of what do you call like and leadership. We will be part and parcel with the men leading together. That is what she says.
Okay, I will respect that. Okay, so just one more question on gender before we move on to other things, and we're almost coming to a close anyway. Just one more question on gender. So what programs are you, as an initiative that is representing Somalia, what programs are you coming up with to ensure that women are more represented, to ensure that women are actually included into in the processes of development? What programs have you come up with, or are you thinking of coming up with to make sure that women participate more in development activities?
Thank you. maxaa dhihi jiray programmaha qorshooyinka ku yaalo in naagaha maxaa dhihi jiray gabdhaha mustamarka ay noqdaan mid ku maxaa dhihi jiray ka qeybga codkooda helaan waxa adiga caqabada aad sheeganaysa kulli leedeen programma agenda ayaan diyaarsan project program
noo diyaarsan bulshada Soomaalida boqolkiiba 65 waa haweende haween markii horta haweenka la wacyigeliyo marka election oo kale iyagu isku codeeyaan in maxay iskuulaadka kala wacyigelin aan ka sameeyno oo nidhaahno hablaha maxay haytooyeen adiga inanka walaalka inaad isku gurga uga soo baxdaan aqoonta u soo raadsataan in hablaha ku wacyigelino shaqada walaalka qaban kara adna wad qaban kartaa in hablaha lagu wacyigeliyo shaqo kasta aabaheed iyo walaalkeed iyo hawl kasta aabaheed iyo walaalkeed iyo abtigeed qaban karaan iyaduna qaban karto
sigo ka furta okay maxaa kala qodobta saddex sheeg
goobaha waxbarashada loogu tago sax in maxay haytooy in electionka kala dumarka la wacyigeliyo dumarka ha miitino badan yeeshaan guriyas ku tagaan in dumarku ka faa'iido dumarku halkii laga andacoodaan anaga nin baan qabay reerkayga nagu yiraahdo reerkana qabana reer baa tahay maxay haytay ku andacoodaan in dumarku loo sheegay iyagu ka faa'iido bin ragga iyagu laba meelood ay ka heli karaan dadna taas ugu quflan tahay lanta laga saaro laga dhaadhiciyana iyagu kuwa noo taganay idinka leekinaa kuwa noo taganay idinka leekinaa
okay, and she says what do you call they are different, what do you call depending on the need and the scarcity of resources and what do you call what do you call the challenges that we foresee to come in the future. She says I can summarize now in a nutshell a number of projects or programs that we can use to tackle the gender inequality or imbalance. One, she says that we must have what do you call girl child education. We have an initiative or a program in place that allows every girl child in a family have to get educated. See, and a program that desensitizes and mobilizes every community or any society of what we call the community, that allows the girl child have the right to get educated, and they have been given what we call the opportunity to go to school. Secondly, she talks about in terms of resource sharing, especially in the employment sector. And for any 2-3 what do you call positions that are maybe in the civil societies or what do you call in any other non-profit organizations or any other what do you call governmental sectors, and any 2-3 positions that are vacant, always we must give more to the women, like 2. See, are you getting me? 2 more positions to be given to the women. See, the other issues that and we must create what do you call the like non-formal education programs or what do you call projects for the mothers who have not had the opportunity to go to school, so that they can be having a what do you call upright bringing up of kids, of their kids, their children, especially the girls, girl child, so that they can understand the importance of what do you call, when you educate one girl child, you have educated the whole community. When you educate like 10 boys, you have educated what do you call like 1 person or individuals. But in educating one girl child, you have educated the whole community. That's what they has put now what do you call among their own what do you call programs. And finally, she says that we must have what do you call that? What do you call a forum or a sensitization? What do you call and project that will allow the women are part and parcel of the society. They have the important what do you call to take part in any developmental shares of the community, and they have the right to be given their what do you call slots in the society, and also being given their positions in terms of representation in government, and also equally participate in any what do you call independent and what do you call democratic representation. The other issue is for us to fight amicably the issues of girl child, what do you call and women empowerment in the situational context of Somalia. She said we must fight and with all our what do you call and resources and what do you call understanding that the FGM is completely what do you call outlawed or completely what do you call eradicated. What I mean by FGM is we understand the female genital acts like what do you call what do you call cultural what do you call issues, outdated cultural values or practices, especially the Somalis and what do you call more linked to the Arabs and the Asians. But now so much what do you call common in the Somali because of what do you call the effects of fearing that maybe the girl child is not genetically mutilated or she's not circumcised, although taken under all those what do you call the cruel practices. She may be like indulge herself into what do you call acts of fornications, or like what do you call go astray, like indulge herself in acts of prostitution, all those things. So such kind of cultural what do you call understandings and what do you call outdated what do you call beliefs should be educated in only a way of trying to create a sensitive educative forums whereby unorganized what do you call programs and projects are formulated with its own what do you call resources and led by the ladies, managed by the ladies. We don't mean that she said that the ladies should only be the what do you call the leaders of this kind of what do you call movement or sensitization, but men should also be part. But the stakeholders are women, because those who are going to be affected, those who are going to benefit are women. So what I say is, in short, we also need skill empowerment, employment skill trainings for women, because she says we can do even what we call mercenary work, we can do IT work, we can repair phones, we can become engineers, we can become pilots, we can become soldiers, anything we can do as men have done. So the only thing that basically that has made us what we call operate in the level that we are in now and empowermentally what do you call and been what we call regarded as being inferior is lack of the skills and the educations and all those what we call necessities that our what we call colleagues, the men folk have. See, And what you call the 1, 2, 3 measures you have mentioned, and among others to become like in the group or in the forum, maybe when the topic will get to the women, what do you call forum, and she says that is what she summarized at this level.
All right, thank you very much. Definitely a lot of activities needed, to achieve gender balance, but, we're lucky that we have your team there to represent us and to work towards gender equality. So one last topic of discussion before we go is ICT technology. So then this one, could be answered by anyone in the team. So how well connected are the young people in Somalia? Like, what's the situation with ICT? Do young people have, access to internet?
Okay, and okay, I'll hand it over to my colleague also, Abdurrahman, who's a member and part of us, who's also having to get through and go through that question. And Abdurrahman is and you may again address the question to him, because he was a bit like not. Yeah, I'm sorry if maybe we are stretching.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Is how
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
My question is, are the young people in rural communities in Somalia, in terms of do they have access to internet?
Yes, actually, internet. Yes, we do have access to internet.
No.
Okay, when it comes to rural abnormalities, there are no concrete, kind of connection in ICTs in the rural areas. But in the cities like Mogadishu or cities like Ismail, Baidoa, they are quite, significant in terms of access to internet. But in the rural areas, we do have any kind of access to internet.
So now, my other question is, with this, the NAID SDGs initiative, we're looking to take, or rather to collaborate the efforts of young people or rural communities. And one of the ways that we're looking to do that is using the internet. So if the young people in the rural communities are not well connected in Somalia, how do you think you're going to tackle this problem? Because the internet is one way or one tool to connect people, to give people access to information. So if there's a challenge in rural communities in terms of internet connectivity, how would the Somali team handle this?
Okay, let me help my fellow colleague Abdurrahman. Well, it is more of like when we are talking, we have previously discussed about major hindrance or challenges in Somalia, barriers. If security is a major issue, we don't have. I think you concur with me. Internet is not an issue to be discussed, but and as it's part of and the issue. If I'm running for my life, and the issue of internet connection should not come in. But just for for this situation, and we are trying to make our youth be connected as much as we are others in the other parts of the Africa and the world. But at this level, we can only able to connect each and everyone is by trying to and create a forum whereby all the youth in Somalia meet city, you see. And yeah, and they can meet a place where like at the city, and then where we can easily access internet. One of the major issues that we cannot have, even if we take this mobile, what do you call modems, internet connections at the rural areas, it is security-wise, it's impossible. Those insurgents, all those militias who are controlling the villages, they don't allow security internet on those things because of maybe the government and this what do you call military, what do you call support international communities, all those things. They may what do you call connect them or may surveil them through that. So themselves, they also what do you call, even this humanitarian what do you call gadgets like the GPRS for what do you call project sites, monitoring what is going on in the project is not allowed. Even the trial phones are not allowed. Smartphones, they are not allowed. See, so there is a security hitch at that level in the rural areas. So when we are talking about all those issues being surrounded by the security barriers that are there all over the country, but it is more of in-depth, what do you call, and more of highways than in the city. The security, what do you call, barriers are more concentrated at the rural areas than at the city. Now the only alternative we can collide, or we can what do you call, cooperate with this youth is by trying to have another alternative of trying to use rural areas and identify those focal what do you call leaders of the rural areas, the groups in terms of gender balance, all those things, and then bring them together at the city, like through Somali Youth Forum or the NYBD group. They can organize that. If they get assistance from any other part of the what do you call youth forums in the world, like and this one, and then they organize a whole convention like the youth of Somalia in one place, like a city, where they be like lodged and even accommodated for certain days or even a week, and then they can have a forum like those teleconference, the what do you call screens are then in place. They can discuss online connections that happen like that. But at the present, we can only do that. In the near future, maybe we don't know if things will change. We may have connections, electricity, what do you call, other social necessities at the rural areas. That is the situation we are talking on. For those who are at the end, they think this is a movie, like, you see, a story session, but it is the real picture, my dear sister. That's the real picture on the ground. Yeah.
To add one more thing.
Yes.
One more issue.
Okay.
Talking of ICT, when even Mogadishu itself having a 24-hour electricity system started this year. We do not have a proper unified power. Company. Every let's say location in town, Mogadishu has 16 districts. Each district maybe. Everybody has his own generator, gives electricity to 30, 40 families. Now, through the efforts from the government and from the community, they unified and formed one electricity company for Mogadishu. The rest of the city, we're talking of the capital city. We're talking of the capital city. When forget about now the rest of the rural areas, electricity is unheard of. Forget about the internet or ICT. There is no even electricity. That is the situation. Second, again, because majority of the country is still controlled by the insurgents, the Al-Shabaab group. These groups they don't allow because the international community and the AMISOM or the Americans, they use drones sometimes. This remote control flight airplanes. So they get their targets through connecting of intelligence information using smartphones, GIS systems, and in the areas, given just having a smartphone is an issue. Forget about without even internet connection. We used to have in our telecommunication, we use Somali telecom network. The Somali mobile phone used to have internet connection. They give out orders 2 years ago that they talked with the private company that was given communication and internet through using your SIM card, you can buy internet bundles and browse the internet, use WhatsApp and Viber, whatever. They say we don't allow, and it has to be followed. So that the private company, the government question, even here right now in Mauritius, my smartphone, this one I have, it doesn't have internet connection. The internet connection I have is through the line. It's only the fiber optic. Why? Because they say they use for intelligence network. And the government questioned the private company, why? They said because you control only less than 30% of the country. If we don't apply, listen to the orders, they're going to cut off. They're going to cut off all the other 60% or 70% of the country they control, and we will not have business. So we have to listen to them. The day you control the whole of Somalia, we listen to your orders. That is the situation when it comes to ICT in Somalia. Thank you.
One of the ways that we've been discussing, in terms of monitoring progress of the development goals at the community levels in rural African communities was through the use of ICT. We thought of having like mobile apps that people can enter data in, track progress and stuff like that. So if this is not possible at the moment in Somalia, how would you monitor progress? And I have another question. Okay, or probably we should answer that. How would we monitor progress without ICT?
Sorry? How would you monitor the progress? Well, in terms of meeting those agendas in the sustainable growth, how are we going to monitor? You said so?
Yeah, because we are thinking having like a mobile app that people can have access to their cell phones. And you guys just told me that you can't even access the internet through your cell phone, right?
Yeah. Well,
alternative way we can monitor progress in
yeah, thank you. As I understand, we monitor through ICT the development projects. That is the question you're asking. To be realistic, we do visits. We visit through visiting the rural areas and taking pictures. We take pictures, videos. Then when we come back to the city, we write our report and use that report to give to the donor, the donor agencies, both UN and international organizations, and any other donor that give us funds. And not all. For example, when you're talking about more rural areas, the major cities in Somalia, they have accessible electricity, they have accessible internet connections, not through the phones, but through the offices and computer. For example, if today I have an activity in, let's say in Baidoa, the next region, the Baidoa, the headquarters of the town, I can get, we have offices, we have internet. So when we do our activities in the rural areas, we mobilize the youth, bring them to town, or go and visit the rural area, give them trainings, capacity building, and start implementing the project. Implementation, when it's done, we send our monitoring team on ground. They take pictures, videos, come up with the report, and support with those videos and pictures the report, the monitoring report that the fund is asking for.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're coming to a close now because we've been on probably for more than an hour, but so probably one last. What is the what are your concrete plans that you do within the next couple of months in terms of the initiative? What are you working on? What projects are you working on?
Currently, we just finished. We have a 3 years vocational skill training. We are doing 3 years vocational skill training for 250 youth. 250 youth with our partner organization is called American Friends. We just finished the first year, and we started the launch on 6th April for the series of the project, training the youth on mechanics, carpentry, bit saloon for the ladies, and vinyl beating and pickup painting. That is one. We also just concluded a training, a program partnered with what we call Transitional Stabilization Fund from USAID. We were educating, because we are in conflict and civil war. We did consensus building workshop for the community in Lower Shabelle region, and giving community consensus building and good governance and conflict resolution, resource mapping, activities, training workshops for Middle and Lower Shabelle region. We just started with those 2 regions and proceeding to other regions. That's a program we are partnered with USAID. Second, we are planning, as I told you, there's charcoal export in Somalia that has really caused deforestation and finishing large part of the dense Somali forest. Tomorrow, we're also in a network called Youth Service America. They have this event tomorrow happening on 17th called the Global Youth Service Day. This Global Youth Service Day now we organize for a project called tree planting to create awareness to the community and the youth the importance of environmental sustainability, that through the integration, the goals are integrated. When we have environmental sustainability, then we have prevented the soil erosion and the food security will be achieved. If food security will be achieved, there will be no hunger. So through using the Sustainable Development Goals, we are trying to also, we have that program, that event will happen tomorrow, and we'll share with you also as our partner and colleague the event report. We have also other projects coming up, like mostly we're focusing on conflict and peace mechanisms and vocational training as an alternative creation employment for the youth. Also, we're having a lot of, because of the problem we have, majority of the youth, they are migrating. And as you see in the report always, Somali youth die in the seas, seeking asylum to Europe and the Western world. Majority, more than 350,000 youth died in the seas looking for asylum seeking in Europe and other parts of the world. So to cap, if they stay in the country, they don't have alternative source of income, they don't have alternative education, so they migrate to go and get alternative education or alternative source of income or employment. So here, if they stay, they don't have that alternative. The other alternative they have is to be employed as child soldiers. So we are, that's why we are focusing on education and vocational training skills, because the youth that are involved in this criminal activities, the youth that are involved in these criminal activities are the youth between 14, 15, 20. So they have gone beyond schooling system. So we need to give them short courses that gives them skills that they can get employment or self-employment or employment activities to give them an alternative source. That is now the projects we're focusing more on. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before we what are your last remarks? Is there something that you'd like to tell young people watching you from Somalia or from other countries in Africa? What are your last remarks?
My last remarks is, as Africa, they always tell us we are developing world and the third, I don't know, the third world. We need to unite as Africans. We should not wait international community to lead us. Let's unite as Africans. Charity begins at homes. Let me, as the Somalis that will going to listen this, the youth, the elders, the government, everybody, I'll tell them charity begins at homes, and we need first of all, before talking for Africa, before talking for development of Africa, ourselves, we are fighting each other for 25 years with no proper reason. We are one community, one people, one language, one religion. I don't know why we are fighting for. African countries are also the same. So we need to unite ourselves. We need to join hands for the betterment of Somalia and for the betterment of Africa. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
To add on that, what do you call, as he said, charity begins at home. For any successful nation, behind the success, there must have been a woman who has sacrificed her life and everything. We must respect the gender imbalance. That is, we must, what do you call, also, what do you call, eradicate the inequality that exists. We must empower our ladies. We must respect our mothers. We must respect our sisters. We must respect our daughters. We must give them their rights. We must empower them, no matter what it takes us. Through them, we can achieve, as Somalis, as Africans, as a nation, as a human fraternity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're very grateful that you could make the time to come and discuss your progress, of implementing the SDGs in your country. And we hope to engage more in future. And we wish you all the best in your project. And we hope that you're going to keep us posted on the activity that is going on tomorrow, as you mentioned during the discussion. So thank you very much, Team Somalia. Young people, you've heard it from Somalia. They're facing quite some challenges such as poverty, security, and lack of a stable government and gender imbalance. So we hope that, as we all try to work towards improving our different countries, we hope that we can all unite as the Somalia team just said. We need to unite not only as as one Africa. So that is our last remark. Let us all collaborate as we try to implement the SDGs. So from me, thank you very much for the team that was able to make it today, and we will see you again next time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.